Snoot did top his group with Bjorn and Solar inside of it. As we set up into this game number 1, it's going to be a gas pool hatch opening from Serral. We do have these horizontal spawns, so we'll see how this turns out as we see a gas racks opening. A racks gas actually opening from GuMiho. He's been playing a lot of 2-1-1s the last day or two. Has been doing a lot of 2-1-1s into 2 base all-ins as well. So we'll see how this will go. Is the Janus map being played? It will be played as map 7 if we need it here in this series. So we'll see how that goes. And yes, the final is best of 15. Every map will be played, so it's just 15 maps in the finals. The winner of the best of 15 walks away with $1,000. The second place gets $750 plus $50 for every map they win during that grand final. So it's kind of like, basically, there's a lot of reason to kind of play the full 15 maps. Obviously, I was just talking to Sue, and I was just saying, hey, tomorrow, this time tomorrow, etc., etc. And Sue was like, Sue was just like, well, he's really excited basically about the 15 maps and getting prize money for every map he wins. He's like, yeah, he's like, cool, happy faces and stuff like that. So I think the players like the idea. It's obviously a bit different. I don't think every series should have, or every tournament should have a best of 15 or something. But it's definitely something different and something cool for, a tournament which is designed to help promote maps. It's designed to help us see the maps in action. And so obviously it's nice when we can start to get to see that, as we do see GuMiho just coming down here for his Reaper initially. Again, no vertical spawns on this map. Maybe something GuMiho didn't quite realize. As we're just going to be seeing the Reaper continue to move around here. A few drones coming down to the low ground. Look to see what else is going on. Again, a couple of lanes just sat here from Serral. We do see again a hatchery set up on the low ground. Really wasn't anything too crazy here then in the end, as GuMiho doesn't see his opponent again that bottom left side. There's a couple of Marines coming over to the sides as well, just getting set up, and just defensive play here early as the Lings will hit speed and they will try and run in. Depot will be raised on both of the sides of the entrance. And actually, Serral going up there, did he see the second racks? He did, so he gets to know that this is a 2-1-1 at least. Does actually pick off a Zergle and an SCV on his way out as well. And Serral knows exactly what he's playing against. Interesting that you will still commit into Pneumatized Carapace then. I'm not sure what exactly the plan for that is. Maybe he goes for a couple of Overlord drops across the map while GuMiho moves out. It's actually a very powerful way to counter 2-1-1. It might just be because he wants the Pneumatized Carapace throughout the rest of the game, though. I just feel as though with the scouting he's already gained, there isn't too much more scouting he necessarily needs. It could just be a safety thing for his Overlords as well, an ability to keep spreading them out to regain that map control time and time again. A couple of Lings jumping on top of that Reaper. You can see the stim pack on the way up as well, and a couple of SCVs on the way out. The starport about to finish up, and that will lift up and jump onto this factory here in the next few moments. So starport drops on down, and we will see a couple of medevacs now on the way out. So a couple of medevacs coming through, and again just seeing the very standard setup of the 2-1-1. Just going to be seeing so actually moving an Overlord into the main base. Again, I'm not really 100% sure why. GuMiho sees it, and he is just going to pick this off. Oh, he doesn't, he turns away. Overlord actually staying alive then. A small shame, he's going to come back over here. The thing is, this was already seen by the Zerglings, so again, for Serral is just reconfirming this. I guess you can maybe see the reactors definitely on the starport. He might want to be checking for the 2-base all-in follow-up, but actually double engineering bay at the front will just confirm that is just going to be a very kind of macro-focused 2-1-1 moving into a third base in the foreseeable future. And we've seen these two medevacs loading up then, and they're going to start coming through the top side of the map. Yeah, no vertical spawns on this map, but there is cross spawns enabled, so you can spawn cross, but you can't spawn top to bottom because it is very short rush distance, natural to natural. Then it would really make a lot of sense, like from here to here. just too short. So vertical enabled, but horizontal and cross are vertical disabled, horizontal and cross enabled. So you do see 16 Marines unloading, and obviously a lot of the initial point of this push is to take down some initial creep. But look at this. I mean, there's a lot of creep teamers here. But then, you know, and the creep is all over the place. He's actually just going to push forwards with this a little bit now. Going back against those lings. And he's just going to get forced to lift up and maybe drop up in towards the main base instead. Serral being uncontested on his creep then. I mean, he loses one creep teamer there, but that's about it. Oh, one medevac already having to pull backwards. These Marines just staying and fighting a bit longer here. GuMiho eventually lifting up and leaving. But again, I mean, keeping the medevacs alive is important. He's trading, actually, it's Serral who's trading a little bit better in these early stages. As 1-1 combat shields comes on up. And again, those extra barracks going to be dropping on down. Third CC building as well from GuMiho. He's going to lift up and place it down here, it seems. Which is kind of, I think, the normal way to expand here for the Terran, given the positions on the map. Medevacs will get repaired, which I like, obviously, especially considering those queens got them so low already. Better get them back full of health before they go out and start attacking once again. As 4 medevacs come up in total, it's going to be that second wave of this attack, basically. And that's when GuMiho can just look to continue doing a bit more damage. Again, one medevac healed, the other one healed now too. And across the map they go. Both of them actually got left at 149 out of 150 health, but that's okay. It's not going to make too bad of a difference. Bane speed on the way up. And again, +1 carapace building on this Evo chamber in the back of the natural as well. These two medevacs of GuMiho continue to come down to the south side, and the third base is going to relocate into position as we're just going to be seeing Ling Bane Hydra out of Serral. He sets up on into this and gets this ready to roll. Again, a few more Marines just going to be unloading and just going to be seeing these Marines just stimming on in. A couple of Lings going on into this as well. Some good damage being done, and again, these Marines continue to pull backwards. Some Banes being picked off right away. Now I'm just going to see the lift up, and again, this is a bit of a nicer trade. Not many Marines lost. Medevacs staying fairly healthy as well. And he's just going to be able to drop back down to get ready to hit into this fourth base again in the next few moments. Apologies, went into, I think, Serral's point of view there for a second, and obviously heard his in-game alert. As you can be seeing this Liberator coming through the top side. Ooh, this time we do see the Queens getting one of the medevacs here. And we'll just see the Marines just going to trade a little bit longer before lifting up. Although these Marines are melting a lot of the Lings. Finally, Banes arrived. The medevacs actually stuck around and got lost. Now this Liberator is going to come up in towards the main base. Where again, there's already a Queen waiting though. And you'll see jump nonetheless a Queen and a Hydra now. What does he actually try and kill? Just target down a drone or two? He gets a shot onto a Queen, so he doesn't even get a drone. Not the best moment or so from GuMiho as again those Hydras continue to come on out, and that Ling Bane Hydra setup starting to look fairly powerful here. Infestation pit just finished up too, and whether we see a couple of infestors being added or whether it's just a straight to hive tech for Ultra Switch, we'll find that out in the next few moments. Hive is a real possibility. It's going to be a hive right now. He probably will add a couple of infestors on as he goes. Those fungal growths are just so valuable, and you can just get so much out of them. And actually against Beyond, I think it was. Was it Beyond against Serral? It might have been Beyond against Solar, but either way, we saw Zergs throughout this tournament being able to use those burrowed-infested fungals and flanking with those very, super effectively, like hyper effectively. They did so much at certain points. It really was a little bit crazy. This two medevac's going to be moving down the south side. GuMiho continue to drop until he's set up into his 2-2 upgrades and can go for that kind of larger 2-2 push that Terran players are so well known for generally. And a few more Queens just pushing out some more creep spread, and then again Marine just poking away at that Overlord in towards the center. So Overlord taking a little bit of damage. 2-2 upgrades just going to be continuing to come up here from GuMiho. As that 2-2 finishes up, we are just going to be seeing GuMiho, and I guess set to push in towards the center. Marines unload, you wouldn't mind as well. And now we do see the Liberator starting to come on up. The Hive is finishing, so Adrenal Glands, the Ultralisk Cavern coming through. The first Infestors have popped out, and as we mentioned, just a very standard setup here basically for Serral. GuMiho's getting himself into a very late game scenario. I mean, if there's anyone who can play late game, it is GuMiho. He's used to playing, he obviously likes to play a lot of mech, and playing bio late game is a bit different, but he's a patient player. He will take as long as he needs to play a longer game out. And that's exactly what he's kind of just setting up for right now as he comes in, does deny the 5th base, gets a kill without a cancel. It's obviously nice as well, even obviously therefore getting away with all of those Marines. Medivacs don't take any damage too, and they'll just get ready to go in again in the next few moments. Again, Stim and forwards, a few Crypt Tumors getting taken down. And again, just going to be seeing a Crypt Tumor 2 getting down, so it's taking some damage as well. I'm just going to be seeing again, Lingbane Hydra still collecting to the top side. Continue to push forwards here. There's that kind of burrowed Infestor was waiting to strike over here. As you do see a lot of Banes going down before they can do a lot. Oh, everything comes up right there, and that's going to be the fungal growth from the Banelings. Wow, but GuMiho, look at that. GuMiho actually makes it so that he targets each Baneling and none of them get to hit. Meanwhile, there's drop down to the south side. GuMiho still microing this and picking back up to go back into this main base, where he'll be able to just unload once again. He's continuing to just try and deny this position. Deebling Bane going to be setting up though, and he will be pushed back once again just into the corner. Unfortunately, this Marine left behind. So going to once again focus towards the top side. GuMiho expanding through the top as Serral expands linearly down the map. Obviously with Liberators up, the Ultras have started to come out. Viper's on the way to try and deal with this. Another Infestor fungal growth from the back. And that's going to be Serral really starting to break through GuMiho here. In the end, those Infestors just sat in the back and just, you know, time after time just finding these positions where they can kind of flank in and do so much damage. They really keep finding the money fungals. It happened against Bjorn, and it's happening again right now. As we're just going to be seeing GuMiho struggling a little bit here. Coming through the south side of the map. I mean, there's just so much creep to clean out on this map. It's kind of large. You're actually really yet to see fungal growth again. These fungals are insane, man. He just keeps setting them up in these positions that are just so good and so abusable. SCVs will have to repair this plant tree once again. Only one Liberator left over, but it will be enough to push this back. GuMiho is hanging on, but Serral is taking all the good trades so far. At least it feels like it. GuMiho is actually very far ahead on resources lost. Out 2,500. But again, Serral's the one that those fungal growths especially, they're just getting huge connections as GuMiho clumps up. He finds the perfect moment to connect with the fungal, and boom, the next thing you know, he's kind of running on in. Widowmines here, not going to be enough to help out thoroughly, as we're going to be seeing nice transfusions. Serral keeping the Ultras alive, keeping the Viper alive as well, as the missile turret gets some kills. Now GuMiho might not be able to do much about this, and Serral takes game number 1. Serral pushes through here, and a really interesting game, seeing the different ways of expanding based on how each player wants to play this. Serral just finding too many good fungal growths, and because of that put GuMiho into some very awkward positions and some very awkward fights. Like our purple Terran from Psystorm Gaming is GuMiho. Bottom left hand side, our blue Zerg player from NZ Sports, it's Serral. So again, setting it up. Getting ready to go. Hatchery on the way down the natural. What did I just miss in chat? That was a very large map, wasn't it? A very large map, that one. This is another very large map. I think GuMiho might try and end this game a bit early with some sort of 2-base aggression like he did against Sue yesterday. I'd be very surprised if he actually came through, and I would be very surprised if GuMiho was to come through and to kind of try and macro again after that one. Maybe he plays mech, I could understand that, but I think you could just see on the last map, so large, and Serral, even in the close spawns, just got to creep spread up the map. There was at no point did he not have creep anywhere on the map. It's not like GuMiho opened with an opening which isn't good about cleaning creep. You know, he opened 2-on-1, one of the best creep cleaning openers. He just couldn't do anything with it because one scan only killed off 1 or 2 tumors. And 1 or 2 tumors was just, you know, barely the beginning of it. And so GuMiho just couldn't do enough to slow that creep spread down. And so Serral pushed himself into a very good position from the get-go. ZvZ is awesome, it gets unwarranted hate. ZvZ can be awesome, but if you just watch the ZvZ we just watched, you'd understand why I'm a bit worried, cats, about having a best of 15 all maps played of it tomorrow, because, you know, the best of 15 is going to take up 3 or 4 hours, not like 20 minutes, which is maybe what it would take if the ZvZ goes anything like it did today. We actually only saw all-ins and aggression today in the ZvZ. It's pretty crazy. I think Korean ZvZ especially is a very aggressive playstyle a lot of the time. We very rarely see the Koreans really just both open in macro. At least one player usually tends to get aggressive, and because both players are so good, it usually decides whether the game ends or not based on how good a hold it is, and then no slip-ups from there, or just how good the aggression is, putting, you know, the aggressive player ahead, and then again no slip-ups from there to close it out. And we've seen Stimpack on the way up. And the stim comes on through. It's the 2-1-1 once more. Again, I feel as though here GuMiho probably does what he did against Su yesterday in the best of 1 tiebreakers, and he goes for that kind of 2 base all in, and sets up into the sets up in towards basically some Hellbats, and just gets very aggressive here. There's the same spawn locations as well. Yesterday he was top right and Su was down in this location, but it was very powerful. It worked very well, and for GuMiho, one of the big things to kind of help him with this would be to deny the Overlord Scout, and especially once the factory starts building Hellions, that's when he really needs to hide the fact that, you know, of what is going on basically, because if he doesn't hide that, that will be Serral identifying it, and he can begin to set up against it. So we've seen another couple of Marines on the way out, and Overlord comes in towards the main base, and this time he will scout the 2-1-1. Again, I don't think this is the issue. Scouting the 2-1-1 is fine. GuMiho won't be too worried about that. It's if this factory does start to build the Hellions, etc., and he does try and go all in, that's what I'm afraid of Serral scouting, because then GuMiho's game plan is going to get shut down fairly quickly. Maybe he decides not to do that because he sees this overload speed and realizes it might get scouted. That is a possibility too. Let's see what he adds on here in the next few moments. Are we just going to see one engineering bay as an overload goes down, or are we going to be seeing 2 engineering bays? Are we going to see those Hellions coming on up in the next few minutes? Double engineering bay. And obviously that suggests a bit more of a macro-focused playstyle. A little bit of an awkward spot, this kind of high ground ledge. I guess he's going to take his 3rd base here, right? So if he has to worry about his engineering bays being picked away by mutas, etc., he probably has other issues. Flare starts up from Serral. He continues to tech on up here for now. And I'm just going to be seeing again some drops getting ready to roll, of course. I mean, we expect that to happen, and they are moving across the map. They're going to maybe drop in towards the main. Serral seems to have a bit of an idea about this possibility. Where are the Queens? The Queens collected down between the natural and third, so ready to basically respond wherever they're needed. The fact he's got the Lings in the main, though, is really nice. I mean, again, he's just covering all his bases. And GuMiho now just going to drop down over this side. He actually has... Ooh, I like this position on the low ground, of course, where he can sort of, like, drop down some of the Marines and just sort of kind of stick around there, I guess, a lot of the time. Obviously, those Marines are going to be able to do a lot, and they're going to be pretty much untouchable. A Queen goes down, wandering too far forwards. Now GuMiho will lift up, and we'll just maybe back away, maybe scan over here and get rid of these couple of creep tumors. And again, it's another map which is going to be difficult to control the creep spread on, especially someone who's good at Serral's creep spreading. He's already pushed it up the left side, starting to come up through the central left side too. And that first scan's nice, but it's only really kind of, the start of the issue which GuMiho is shutting down here. Third CC as well, so again, not going to be that 2-base sort of playstyle that we talked about before. The thing that really fell apart for GuMiho in game number 1 was the fact those burrowed infestors kept doing so much damage to his army time and time again. And so I would expect him here in game number 2 to be a lot more wary of that. Maybe sit near a missile turret at all points of time. Really be careful with his scans, or really just be, looking with his eyes and really being careful of any burrowed infestor movement he sees to shut down the fungal growths coming in when he's just not ready for them. Again, it's going to be using a sim forwards. We're going to see a Queen gets low, but doesn't actually fall. Banes are here as GuMiho micros backwards. Oh, one Bane and connects, and that's all it's going to take here as GuMiho messes up completely, honestly. He'll have to lift into that medevac and pull away towards the upper right-hand side. And he actually lost a couple of medevacs in the process. Was that 2 or 3? It was just the 2. That's actually some heavy losses there. if he boosted away with one of those medivacs and the Marines didn't get hit by that final baneling, well, this would have been a much better scenario, as 1-1 now does finish up. It's a big upgrade lead for GuMiho, I have to say. Armory about to finish, so 2-2 will be very far ahead as well. Serral, one of the more difficult things on this map might be taking the 4th base, especially, I think you kind of have to expand over here as the Zerg now. And he's going to have to take that forward 4th. He could take the back 4th. I actually don't think that's a bad idea with this gold base. Might not be a bad idea at all, but obviously he has to break through the rocks first, and he's just not quite been able to do that just yet. GuMiho just going to be starting to move through the center once again. You see a Zergling getting taken down, and again 2-2 upgrades on the way up. Finally the melee upgrade starting to come on through here from Serral. Again, nice upgrade advantage though, and GuMiho still cleaning out that creep spread. Taking off overlords around the map as well, just slowing Serral down, slowing down his macro play as he heads into that Lingbane Hydra. No sign of infestation pit yet, so GuMiho for now is safe against potential hidden fungals. But again, it's something he really does have to keep in consideration here, because he really can't afford for those fungals to be as good as they were throughout the last game. These two medevacs going to come all the way down here. We're seen by this kind of couple of lings on the watchtowers. With those, when you're seeing this, obviously, Serral started to move into position to defend. He's got units in the main as well, so again, GuMiho not going to really be able to find much of an opportunity. And as he comes back over to look at this drop, he realizes the situation. And they'll just continue to back away. Medevac here once more is denying creep spread up that left-hand alleyway. And now nothing on the low ground. Maybe just another couple of creep tumors he picked up. But very far back creep tumors. Not sure if these are the ones he really wants to be kind of cleaning out as much as he wants to be cleaning out the creep up here, for example. He has been using so many scans to clean out so much of this creep. Semifinals now. You will find a few active tumors, which is nice. Will slow down the creep massively. And you'll scan as well. Unit's not quite in position here. And he will actually stop a lot of the creep in front of the 4th base, which is nice, because Serral, one of the things he really needs creep on top of is that 4th base. So you're going to see Banes rolling in towards the 3rd. GuMiho with a fast response and an easy cleanup here. Some Wonder Mines go down, but all the Banes get used up with very little work damage done. And that's perfect for GuMiho, minimizing the economic damage, as he still picks off a couple of workers here and there with this drop play as well. He finds himself a couple of Banes too, and yeah, this kind of behind the main positioning, or behind the 4th position, is actually very, working out very well for him. Still no infestation pit, and I wonder if Serral this game is just looking to be a bit more aggressive than he was in the last game, I suppose, where he was obviously just like, you know what, let's go, let's just throw infestation pit down and tech up. This game, he's really looking to play it a little bit longer, basically. Wouldn't mind not burrowed immediately, though, and Liberator is a little bit late to the party, too. Marines starting to come on in, and we're just going to be seeing GuMiho poking forward to try and grab some initial nice trades. Another Stimpak comes forward, and those Marines have to keep on splitting against all of these Banes. As Serral moving forwards, GuMiho bringing more Marines back. Does he actually have enough to hold on to this, though? A lot of Lings, Widow Mines as well, will have to burrow. SCVs being pulled in, but Serral is looking very, very good as these Hydras are picking off a lot of workers. I mean, it is only Hydras on their own, and it is 2-2 against currently 1-1. But I think GuMiho is just being caught again a little bit unawares in this fight, and now lifting up this orbital. This is not going well for him. Serral takes a 2-0 lead over GuMiho. Serral's looking very... Has Serral always been this good, or is his rise in recent? So Serral's always been this player who, when he doesn't have school, gets very good. But then he goes back to school, so you don't see him for a while. Then he has like summer break or something, he becomes a god again. But he finished school a few months ago, so now he's full-time. And similar to Laser, as soon as he went full-time, he really skyrocketed to the top and stayed there. So I think he's always been this good, or getting towards this good, but obviously being able to stay at this level because he doesn't have school and so he can just practice, has obviously amplified his presence in the scene, presence in a lot of tournaments as well. Because again, Serral really was this player who would disappear for like months at a time when he had school, you know, and especially just because he would be kind of maybe not as good when he was been playing, so even if he was around and playing stuff, you just wouldn't quite notice him as much. But now, as soon as he's full-time, yeah, he is an absolute monster. An absolute monster. Again, let's set up into this game 3 as we do see a Reaper on the way up. I'm just going to be seeing the Swan Pool on the way out here from Serral. I'm just going to be seeing the couple of Overlords just settling up. Going to see a CC from GuMiho coming down in the natural. Again, Anomaly is one of these weird maps. It's one in the new map category where it has this kind of single pathway, which obviously kind of a few rocks here to open up some extra bridges, and just bridge crossings in general to try and make things a bit interesting moving forwards. We've seen some cool games on this map. Su vs GuMiho was a great one. We've seen actually a lot of good games on this map. I think this map's provided much better games than we would expected it to initially. As we do see this Reaper coming down towards the bottom left. Now guys, I have to remind you, if this does go to a Game 7, Arch of Janus will be the deciding map. Did you see this Reaper just coming in, and again, Grenade taking some damage. Drone just taking some hits here, and yeah, the couple of things going to take a few more shots too, so a little bit more damage being done. We're going to be seeing the factory on the way up here for GuMiho, and he is going to play a very different opening to the 2-1-1 he's been trying so far. I am surprised that he tried the 2-1-1 kind of expansion and macro game twice in a row, that last one. I really thought he was going to go for like the 2-base all-in variant, but maybe again he changed his mind based on the fact Serral got that pneumatized carapace, something which GuMiho over the course of this series is probably going to realize, if he hasn't already, that basically Serral's going to build into pneumatized carapace every single game, no matter what. This map's good for Terra, and yeah, it's pretty good. It's good for long games. It's very difficult to flank on. Then again, a lot of GuMiho's issues isn't necessarily being flanked, it's just the kind of infestors burrowing underneath his army and sitting behind his army just looking for the perfect moment to fungal, and he just doesn't see them in the scans, because, you know, say your army's positioned here, say your army's positioned like here, and the Zerg's up here, you're generally going to scan like here or here to see infestors in the army. You're not going to scan like here behind your army to actually try and identify a burrowed infestor, right? Because that's not where they usually are, and I think that's one thing that Serral's been using heavily to his advantage to be able to make this work, basically. Reaper continues to pull back over towards the center. Two more Hellions going to arrive. We have two more Hellions coming through. We're all just going to get set up into the the fairly standard stage of this. A couple more Hellions on the way, Viking as well now. Tech Lab on the starboard, so probably a Raven after this as well. And we'll continue to see some harassment as this game goes on through. So that Overlord does get picked off, and as the Overlord goes down, it's going to be seen again, Ravens on the way up already, Bane the Nest, dropping down on the natural expansion. And these couple of Hellions going to come back over to the front of the natural too. And again, Lair, Bane and Nest on the way up. Third hatchery finishes. And the Ravens still coming through here from GuMiho. I think it's time to see mech then. Two more refineries coming down on the natural, and it does look as though we're going to be seeing some heavy mech play here as the Viking looking for its second kill of the game, doesn't find it yet. Obviously with the pneumatized carapace, Serral can pull all his Overlords back fairly quickly and minimize the success of this Viking. But obviously with the Viking having been pushed back all those Overlords, there's a lot less vision on the map for the Zerg player, and so he doesn't necessarily know what he's meant to be aiming for as a follow-up here. And actually, he is in the main base, and he does see sort of coming down now a double armory. Serral doesn't have very many units just yet though. 14 Lings, now a few Banes morphing. So a lot of Hellions to the top side, and it is only going to be Hellions by the way. No armory, so hell that's not available. Where did that Raven go? Raven, where are you? There you are. Oh, I like this, using the Raven just to clean up a whole bunch of the creep spread. Again, one of the issues GuMiho's had is being able to deal with the creep spread of Serral throughout this so far. And now obviously finding a way to be able to help deal with that. Just going to see some creep chambers coming down to help replace, but again, still being slowed here, and that's exactly what GuMiho wants to do, slow down the Zerg and stop him from just advancing the creep too much further forwards than it already is. And he's going to come in and get some pretty good damage on the Queens to the point we're going to see auto turrets coming down to help chase. Another auto turret available in a moment. We're going to see Lings and Banes coming through to help out as well. Actually, do see an armory down, obviously now finished, and so Hellbats can start to morph in. The Lings again, some pretty good surrounds on all of this, honestly. And Serral actually takes some pretty good fights there. So GuMiho will chase forwards. He wants those couple of Banes, but again, it's risky because he has to start pushing onto creep. And that's not really what he wants to end up doing. 1-1 upgrades on the armories, and we do see the extra factories again. We knew this was going to be mech when we saw the third and fourth gas on the natural so early, so not really much of a surprise to just see the setup of that continuing now. The third CC comes into position to land as well. And now we see this Viking of GuMiho again just moving around to see what else he can do, see what else he can pick up on. Can you imagine Serral goes to the finals? I know it's going to be TvZ, but ignoring that, can you imagine it's going to be like this massive best of 15 with Sue and Serral made it through all of these other players in the tournament? I think it'd be pretty crazy. I see Ling is coming through the south side. We're going to see a couple of Hellbats going to be there to help defend, but they won't do enough of a job. And the Hellbats, as they go down, will now have to, well, as they go down, the SCVs have to pull away, obviously. Only a couple workers killed, not really the end of the world, but again, it does slow down a little bit of mining time, especially on the gas, especially on these mules, which obviously only have a limited amount of time to mine. And it's nice, it's Serral slowing GuMiho down, as GuMiho getting into just a little bit of a tougher spot to deal with, as we are going to be seeing one of those Banes cancelled. Oh, the fact that 2 Banes just killed 3 Hellions, it's another little mistake there by GuMiho that's just going to add up and not end up in his favour. I'm not sure why the SCVs pulled here, maybe a bit of a Bane drop or something. I don't know how Banelands would have got in otherwise. Anyway, Serral continue to play into the Ling Bane Hydra, which has become a more common way to deal with the mech armies as well as of late. So Ling Bane Hydra into Ultra. Obviously those Vipers become a very useful entity as well in the skies to help against mech. Whether it's Abduct or Blind Clads, both really do add up to go quite a long way. Vikings in this Raven still here, Hellions and tanks gathering together. We're still going to see some Zerglings just working their way through these rocks right now in the center of the map. Another scan comes down over in the main base. 5 swarm hosts on the way up. So Serral really going to start investing into some bits and pieces he really feels as though could help him to deal with this army, I suppose. It's just setting up into that. Lings and Hydras do get rid of those rocks right there. Again, nice pick off on that. So Overlord coming around too. Seeing where it can get to. Seeing where it could go. Drop a load of about 8 Zerglings inside, and again just coming over to the right hand side in the next couple of moments. Again, 5 Vikings, the Raven in the skies, looking to see what's up. We're going to see the Lings getting a bit of a roasting right away there, and well, Serral already looking to get a bit aggressive. Obviously with the Swarm Hosts, he wants to try and put them into use sooner rather than later. With those Swarm Hosts, the earlier you start fighting with them, the more value you get out of them, right? And so obviously that becomes kind of important, as we do see a couple 4s actually rushing forwards to try and pick off a couple units. Has to be careful though, because the Hydras on the tail end of this, and the Hydras can pick off those medevacs, which is sort of the safety of those 4s, being able to lift them up and evacuate them away nice and quickly. Vikings actually going to be able to shut down this base over here. Actually, some Lings that actually came over here got kind of in an interesting position. They're going to get cleaned up by the Vikings as they land. Bane's starting to bust through this wall. GuMiho is a little bit supply blocked from this, as we do see the Locusts about to land right now. They're not going to last for too long though. Bane's connected on so far 9-10 workers. Yeah, that's was it was nice from Serral, but he didn't really do that much damage, right? As we're going to be seeing this Varix taking some more damage as well, taking some shots here, being pushed away through the south side. And another set of Banes going to be morphing in now also. Locust going to drop a few Locusts, which are going to move forwards up towards this third once again. Another wave of this fight about to start up. Tanks and Hellbats combined though doing a pretty good job of this. As we're going to be seeing Serral continue to look to bust through the south side of this now. Tanks, a couple of them on siege, and Hydra's still pushing forwards. Lings coming in as well. Here come the 4s to try and help out. So many more Swarm Hosts, and the 3rd command center alone is already taking so much damage here. These 4s are going to be in trouble. This tank is in trouble. I actually think Serral is just going to break GuMiho here on Anomaly. Can GuMiho do anything against Serral? I don't think so. I really don't think so. I don't think GuMiho has any answers to him right now. He doesn't have bio, he doesn't have mech. These Vikings are going down, and GuMiho types out GG for Serral to take a 3-0 lead in this best of 7. What on earth is going on? Alright then, we're going to jump into game 4 of this. We're going to jump into game 4 of this and see what's going to happen. Serral is jet lagged. Yeah, that sounds like the excuse we might have to be cracking out here in a moment or two. GuMiho is jet lagged from having to play at 8 PM instead of, like, I don't know, usually plays like early morning. I don't know, man. I don't know what excuse we can make this time for the Koreans, because Serral is on an absolute stomper through this series. To The top left-hand side, our red Terran player. It's Sidestorm Gaming's GuMiho. He's looking to try and get back into the Serral to the bottom right. I think we introduced the players, but I just can't quite believe that it's a 3-0 lead for Serral right now. What absolute destruction that's been going on. This has been pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. Can't believe this, man. This is actually insane. Alright, anyway, this is Catalyst. Welcome to it. And one of the standard maps of this event. Let's see how this ends up. It's not over yet. That's true, that's true. It's not over yet as we head into game number 4. GuMiho. If he wants to win this, though, he's going to have to go through some phony maps. He's going to have to win on this map. He's going to have to win on Neon Violet Light. He's going to have to... Oh, Neon Violet Squares. He's going to have to win on Arch of Janus in Game 7 if he wants to win this series. And that alone could just be the kind of the game to change it all. But hey, neither of them vetoed it. Neither of them vetoed it. God's Garden, I think, game number 6 as well. If we do get up to 6 games. I actually feel like God's Garden's a good map for Terran. I feel like this is a fairly good map for Terran. Neon Violet Square's pretty large, but I think it could work for Terran too. I think, obviously the first 2 maps were very kind of large and Zerg kind of favoured. We'll see what happens as we continue on and see this Reaper of GuMiho poking around, and Ling is taking some damage. Just going to be seeing the Reaper here doing quite a bit. Yeah, doing a nice little job so far. We're going to see this starport drops on down here. Is the factory going to lift up and drop onto that reactor? A couple of Hellions on the way up. So a couple of Hellions on the way out. This barracks going to move over to the side, and again, these couple of Queens just going to be poking away at that Reaper here and there as well. Ling's working their way through the unbuildable rocks as well. Continue to set up onto this. Man, I just can't believe what's happening right now. Serral is absolutely destroying GuMiho. Again, these games haven't even looked close just yet. You know, we're still going through these games like boom, boom, boom. Serral just looks dominant again and again and again. It's pretty crazy. Reaper and Hellions here going to get a few more Zerglings. Going to jump onto that extractor as well. Do a little bit more damage. It's nice pickoffs being dealt here, I suppose. Reaper throws down a grenade, blasts that Queen backwards for just a moment. And again, just some damage being done. Just denying the third base. So GuMiho going into the Raven as well. Not going to mess around with a extractor. Going to finish. And he kills the next drone that comes along. Loses the Reaper for it, but probably worthwhile. Reaper does lose value over time. It really is just an early scout and defensive unit. Obviously, you can harass with it a little bit as well. But again, over time, you're not going to get much more done. There's now 6 Hellions out. Going to see a Cloak Banshee on the way up after the Raven. So GuMiho playing things a bit differently here once again. Again, setting up into what could very well be mech. Cloak about halfway done at the moment. So Cloak about halfway done, and again, just still setting on up into this. Remember, we do have another series after this. It's going to be the loser of this playing against Solar. And, well, this could be a ZVT. Final is tomorrow, guys. 15 maps played tomorrow from 1 PM CST and onwards. Should be fun. Then Hellions coming in. We're just going to be seeing already this Extractor taking quite a bit of damage. Extractor taking some hits, does go down, and again, these Queens coming forwards to push those Hellions back. So Hellions getting pushed back right away there, and well, Armory on the way up now. Again, probably expecting to see mech here. Cloak's just about to finish the first Banshees coming across the map here. Again, GuMiho slowing down the third hatch at the very least, but it's pretty much all he's done. Bane speed starts up off of this lair. Obviously, Ling speed is finished, and probably just going to see a Hydra Den as well in the next few moments. Set up into that Hydraling Bane, which has been working against Bio, has been working against mech. It's been pretty crazy. Again, Viking just going to sit overhead, and again, Hellions pushing in towards the third base. A couple of auto turrets came down, didn't actually get rid of that Spore Crawler. Hellions going to move into Hellbats with his Banelands coming in. GuMiho's going to have to start splitting against them, sends a couple of Hellbats forwards. Again, trying to minimize the damage he takes. He does split away nicely. But the splits obviously allow the Lings to get a bit of a better surround. This is already going a bit better for GuMiho, though. There's Raven ready to come back in as well in a moment or two. And this third hatch is just taking quite a bit of damage. Obviously, Queens have transfuses, though. And those transfusions will be looking to be used in the next few moments. GuMiho going to realize that he's just going to start going for a queen instead. Something a little bit more easy to pick off, and he does get the kill on that. A couple more drones also. Some good damage being dealt. Where did the Banshee go? Did the Banshee drop down dead already? Looks like it did. I think it actually picked off a couple of the workers. With 7 workers killed in total, and GuMiho just slowing Serral down. For the first time, Serral doesn't have the game going entirely in his direction for once, I would say. I would say that this is the first game we've really seen kind of GuMiho being able to really kind of do a little bit of damage early and to slow Serral down a little bit. And all the rest of it. +1 vehicle weapons on the way up. 2 more factories as well, and still just some more Banshees on the way out. Hellions going to morph into Hellbats again, and once again going to push in towards this third. Some Banes on the way up. Is he able to deal with this consistent wave of Hellbats? It doesn't feel as though he's got enough army supply, but well, I guess we'll see. He sees those Banelings now, GuMiho, so again, he'll focus on the third hatch. Maybe start splitting those Hellbats once again to minimize the damage against the Banes. The splits are pretty good, and it's going to really minimize what Serral can get done here. And now he's back in the mineral line. A couple drones going down. Queen's taking damage up top. And again, GuMiho forcing out transfusions. 2 Lings popping out, getting some kills, and it will be a cleanup by Serral. And GuMiho again denying mining time, and that mining time lost again and again keeps spiking things into GuMiho's favor here. Across the map, some Lings run by, but Hellions are pretty quick to help deal with this. Actually, though, for the 4 drones killed, it's going to be 4 workers or 3 workers in return at the very least. Banshee's still around though. We're going to see an auto turret as well coming down. The Queen going to get, oh, not quite picked off, no way. Queen survives on like 4 HP there initially, and healed back up to 5 obviously already. But yeah, that's kind of crazy. You're going to see another, what's that building? Something just actually to save a drone. Queen goes and kills the Banshee once again. Hellions setting up once more to try and hit this third base. Don't even know if they need to become Hellbats at this point, if they can just run by, because there isn't that many units to really help shut them down. One Baneling here is going to get a good connection. And you do see drones starting to take, again, quite a beating. The mineral line's 13 workers killed. This is one of these games where GuMiho has gotten ahead early and he's kept the harassment going to keep himself in the lead. And eventually, when he builds into his larger mech army, by the time he pushes, Serral is still not going to have enough to deal with it because he's been so focused on replacing drones, fight after fight after fight. And as he gets, so focused on replacing drones, he also gets into that position where he's just never been able to make army or have the eco to make a sizable army against GuMiho. Again, as those drones pull away, as drones go down, you can see the eco leads that GuMiho takes. And even if he just spikes like this once every couple minutes, it does add up, and it does put GuMiho into that position where it becomes very, very difficult to lose from. And 2 Banshees coming to the south. And we'll get ready to go once again. Titan going to pick off this Overlord, so an Overlord does fall, and again some Swarm Hosts just moving around in the center to see what they can get up to. A couple of drones getting dropped. So you see 3 workers being picked off here. You get nearly a 4th worker actually. And again, the Banshee's just looking to keep the harassment up. Serral currently down by 11 workers. There's 4, there's 5. And again, Banshees just want to get to this point now where, again, GuMiho can take more of a lead. As the Swarm Hosts come up, I guess that question is there a way to fight against these locals effectively? Well, killing the Swarm Hosts initially would be good, although those tanks adventure forwards, and they get caught in a surround. That's a great pick-off by Serral. 2 tanks right just like that. And that's a huge pick-off right there. A Raven coming out as well. Let's see if the locals actually got themselves into a mineral line. And so some counter damage being done once more. GuMiho, again, struggling to keep this game under control despite the fact he took a lead early. He does with these Hellions on the map find these Swarm Hosts. Problem is the Zerglings come in to help. pool opening into the hatchery in the near future. And again, the kind of little gimmick on this map, as it's one of the new maps submitted, is it does have these purple square blockers. This back base is very safe, but also only has 6 minerals and 1 gas. The forward base, a normal base, and still fairly safe to take as well. Again, blockers will stop certain units moving through, but the is kind of a larger block, so you can get through still. And again, it's just designed to make the map play a bit differently, depending on the size of your army, basically. So you see another kind of larger gap here in the center, and then the bottom side of the map obviously just begins to repeat. The 4 rocks here. Something which Scarlet said she really dislikes, saying that she doesn't really like the idea of having to break through them, I think. Or having a breakthrough. Maybe it was Stu actually just said he doesn't feel like having a breakthrough 4,000 health of rocks is really ever a good idea. Anyways, game number 5. We wait to see how this will develop. Yeah, the Reaper just popping on out early. GuMiho gonna go factory once again. I think he's done trying to play the bio against Serral in the early stages. Can you really blame the guy? It didn't really go well when he tried to play bio in any way, shape, or form. So those 2 things just coming down the right side, seeing what he can get up to. Reaper coming up to the upper left, obviously wants to try and get in some of this action as well. So Reaper going to come through, and again just have a little bit of a poke around to see what's up. Queen going to get blasted there, and again the Reaper just backing away once more. It's such a dark map. It is a dark map. I don't... For me personally, I mean, I can see it quite well. Like, I don't really have issues seeing this map, and for me, I don't think I'd have issues playing on this map. But I don't know. Obviously, it does affect certain people and certain players. I know Scarlet really complained about this map being way too dark to play on. She actually had to turn her brightness all the way up to be able to see on it, apparently. So we've heard some of that from the players as well. Stop. We're going to finish in a moment or so. Brock's building up a tech lab, and again, 2 Hellions and a Reaper. Just going to get rid of those couple of Zerglings. So a couple of things going down. Stop. We're going to lift up and drop onto the tech lab. I'm just going to be seeing actually a medevac on the way up initially. So we're going to be looking to set up that initial Hellion drop. And from the Hellion drop, you can see obviously the transition into a Raven, a Viking, probably a Banshee. And there is the Cloak coming up already. So Cloak coming on up. And keep this action rolling. So you probably just missed about 1.5 minutes or 2. A minute and a half or so of the game. So welcome back. GuMiho killed off a bunch of workers with his initial couple of Hellions that came back in towards the main base, basically. And now he's got Hellbats moving around, a Banshee as well, which does get picked off here. Looks as though Serral's starting to deal with this a bit better than he was previously. There's a lot of damages being dealt. So again, these Hellbats continue to set on up. And again, GuMiho definitely doing some good damage early, similar to the last game so far, but it's definitely far from over. As Ling's coming in, and these Hellbats are starting to be cleaned on out. GuMiho was just set up into a free base in the back. Serral's still on the free bases, as you guys probably saw before. And we continue on from here. And it's going to be seeing the Ling is pretty much getting cleaned on up, so again, continue on and getting ready to go. Yeah, guys, this was just a straight up expert crash. Stream is back. Tell people in the chat to F5 or something, so that people know to refresh and it comes back. We should be okay to just resume fairly standardly. We came back pretty quick. Like, I got back into this pretty much straight away, so as soon as possible. I even removed the stream delay to get the stream back up and running ASAP, basically. So apologies for that. Infestation pit coming on down here from Serral in the back of the 3rd base. And just going to be seeing again the skill wins coming through for the Hydras. A couple of 4s dropping around, something which can be very powerful actually as a way to try and trade and do early damage. And as you can see, the 4s changing their mode to start destroying some Overlords. And let's continue to fight against Extractors, etc. Any damage you do right now, obviously, with this sort of setup, it's going to be fairly powerful. We're going to see Bane drops getting set up right now. You're going to see these Banes going to get set to drop in towards the main base in the next few moments. Again, a couple of 4s dropping on down here. And we are going to be seeing the Overlord getting picked off as well. Hellions coming through the center of the map. Obviously trying to help set this up again. And again, nice play of the of the forwards here so far. I've never seen these blockers down here. I don't think we've actually seen this map of the this part of the map being used throughout the tournament actually just yet. And Hellions continue to work their way through this. They do have Blue Flame now, which means those Lings will get roasted pretty quickly. The Hellions actually haven't trying to try and back away right now, though. Doing a pretty good job. Again, GuMiho from the harassment early, which you unfortunately did just miss a little bit of, guys, with the Extreme Crash. It's been going GuMiho's way since, and he's been looking pretty good as we see those Hydras coming forwards as well. And a couple of these 4s from GuMiho going to pull back through into the center. Vikings in the sky, more Hellions coming through. Still only a couple of 4s out. He's just going into more siege tanks now. Okay, there's the tanks. I was wondering where the other units were that he's been building, because there's no way he was only building Hellions for so long here. Again, bring these 4 tanks up. There is, I think, a gap the tanks can move through over here as well, as it looks as though GuMiho going to push along the left-hand side. If not, if necessary, you could lift the tanks up and pull them over. As these units trying to fight to get through. GuMiho's a little bit choked up. This is not really where he wants to be exactly. Hellbat's taking the charge, and the tank's quite far away. Now these tanks are going the wrong way, actually. But he is going to be able to push this fight back anyways. 2 4s into the main, nothing to respond to it just yet. Serral struggling to deal with this aggression. And you're just going to see these tanks unsieging. And again, just going to be seeing a few more tanks moving forwards here. Some Locusts actually dropped down on top of the siege tank that was sieged. Obviously can't kite away or anything. No Hellbats nearby to help out, so he does get 1 tank kill with that, but GuMiho is still already in an aggressive spot here, now pushing forwards. I think Serral might have a bit of trouble holding on against this. 4 comes back into the main to do a little bit more damage. One of them apparently going down in the last few moments. And again, just going to be seeing this 4 picking away the Spore Crawler initially, so the Medevac has some freedom as to how it leaves. And now we'll get some drone kills as well, just picking up a drone every single attack, so that very quickly adds up. As again, GuMiho just reinforcing this left-hand side position. The Hydras do come in and clean that out completely. But again, GuMiho has so much over here. He's just doing some Banes, getting some pretty good connections. But again, more tanks coming through, still plenty of Hellbats. And Serral needs a little bit more than what he has right now. That's a bigger wave of Locusts, though. And that definitely will help out with this. Those Hellbats will have to turn and, again, do a decent job getting rid of those Locusts to enable the tanks to survive, so that the tanks can then fight the Hydras, which they do manage to do. But Serral has pushed himself back into an army supply lead, which is something that a few moments ago was not really looking possible at all. You see these Hellbats dropping down once again. GuMiho is going to get cleaned up at kind of once and for all in this position. And Serral will indeed hold on the 4 bases, but Terran player has gone up to 5 bases in the meantime, and he is just continuing to expand more factories, and it's getting scary, I think, for the TvZ player as the game goes by. And I think one thing that's really apparent is that Serral's being kept on the mid-tier tech. Swarm hosts, Lings, Banes, and Hydras. He's being kept away from tier 3 tech. He's not been able to throw down the Hive just yet, even though he has the Infestation Pit, because he's had to really focus on building units to defend against this sort of attack just now. Tanks will maybe think of sieging here, be able to kind of destroy these units as they come through that choke point, I guess. That's one of the issues for Serral in this position. Another scan, and again, Swarm hosts and Hydras coming back up towards the upper left-hand side. So a few Vikings in the sky, and the Swarm hosts looking to see what they can do in a moment or so. As TvZ pulling back towards the right, as we do see Hydras pushing through the center. Hydras coming through the center, and a little bit of damage being done against some of these Hydras getting picked off already. You'll see Locust pushing forwards, and again, just doing what they've been doing so far, although this time dropping kind of early. They get a tank or so, but it means that, GuMiho here can basically just back away from them without having to fight them any further. Only 2-2 against 1-1, by the way, as well. GuMiho definitely leading in that regard, as we're just going to be seeing those Hellbats, tanks, etc. getting set up and ready to roll once again. Vikings shooting away and getting an overload picked off right away, and again pushing forwards. Now changes his direction of attack towards this forward base, which Serral is trying to take as his next expansion. Some Banes rolling through already, but the tank's getting a lot of shots before the Banes are done rolling. Still needs some Hellbats here to be able to help with these Locusts, as now the Locusts coming through in the tanks. A little bit of friendly fire. Hydras pushing forwards too. Is this the opportunity for Serral? Doesn't seem like it just yet. Tanks and siege, and another push forwards. Hellions reinforcement, another wave of Hellbats. And now that GuMiho's in this offensive position, remember that Serral's Locusts are on cooldown, and so it's going to take a little while for them to come back into the play. He's also missing out on the number of Balins he had previously as well. As again, more tanks move forwards. It really is GuMiho looking very good here in game number 5 to bring us to a map number 6. Something that we weren't really looking to get here. honestly, with the way the first 3 games went, GuMiho doing a very good job of fighting back, and again, tanks currently firing away. Locust going to pop on up. And again, a couple of tanks just unsieging. He needs to unsiege these tanks to the top side. Oh, he's actually just going to lift up and drop over to the other side now. Yeah, that works too, I guess. So obviously, the Hellions can come up here fairly easily and reinforce. Tank on the high ground. A few tanks on the high ground actually having a bit of a good time. They're cleaning up those Zerglings there. And these tanks are going to survive. It's a GG from Serral. And GuMiho is going to force game 6. We are God's Garden. So instead it's going to be called Dog's Garden, but it is God's Garden as the intentional name. And we start on the top right hand side, our blue Terran player. It is from Sidestorm Gaming, GuMiho. Maybe GuMiho just wanted to get us all sweating about a ZVZ finals. You know? Maybe he just said, you know what? Let's get, you know, wouldn't it be funny if we made everyone think they're going to have to watch 15 maps of ZVZ tomorrow, but then actually they don't, because I'll just win in the end? And I think GuMiho was finding himself in a lot of difficulty in the first couple of games, but now he has seemed to kind of find a little bit of the weakness of Serral, which is the harassment is something that Serral has been struggling to deal with. He doesn't seem to be able to stay ahead in the early stages of the game anymore, and that's why GuMiho is starting to run away with these games. And this is a perfect map for GuMiho to, again, harass early, because it's a very small map. Our Red Zerg player, NC Sports Serral, bottom left-hand side, of course, is still leading the series 3 games to 2. So, gas pool into a hatchery in the near future. And it's going to be seen this refinery finishing up on the main base. And some SCVs just going to jump into that gas. Can he take us to a game 7, GuMiho? I really hope so, for multiple reasons. Again, like, I don't want to be the one cheering against Serral, but man, I really want to see the TvZ between GuMiho and Sue tomorrow. Serral Sue would be kind of cool as well. I'd call it caster bias, but I really think GuMiho Sue would be one heck of a final. So I am still cheering on GuMiho. I'm happy Serral made this such a sick performance already, though. Like, even if he wins, I can't be disappointed with the fact that Serral has just showed up and performed out of his mind already. I was going to see that CC coming down. On the natural, again, the early build order is looking fairly standard. This is the sort of map you could see an all-in or so from Serral, like an aggressive play, because again, it's a fairly short rush distance up the map. It's coming through in the rush category here, and it doesn't take too long to get across. And the one thing I'm worried about for Serral is actually that it's kind of difficult, actually, this map, to really play on against Terran, because I feel as though the push through the center from Terran is so simplistic and easy. I feel as though that is something that is very Terran favored, and obviously as the rocks go down, other pathways open, and then the kind of flanks can come on in, but you have to get to that stage still. You have to get to that stage still, and that isn't necessarily going to be easy. Starboard on the way up again. GuMiho, he's definitely moved away from bio-based openings. A 2-1-1, something he left behind after game 2, and just hasn't looked back to in the past 3 maps. With those giant carrots, we have giant fruit all over the map. Strawberries, blueberries, watermelons, grapes, lemons, limes. Grapes up here. There's some bananas. Is there carrots? I don't think there is carrots. Right, there's strawberries, bananas. Oh yeah, there is carrots over here. Yeah, there we go. There's some giant carrots. Yeah, fruit-based map. Always a fun one to see. As you are just going to be seeing a couple of Lings poking around, but not doing too much. Nubitaz Carapace investment here early on for Serral. And again, let's see if he can just find himself a defense early in this game that he just hasn't been finding so far in the last, well, in the last 2 games, which GuMiho's won, because again, GuMiho's won both of them off the back of very successful openings. Very successful openings. So again, setting this up, you can see a Widowmine going off, and that Overlord just take a bit of a beating. And Marines is going to be loading up into the medevac and just going to jump on top. So again, work his way through it. Overlord will go down. So Widowmine drop initially then. A little bit different to what we've seen so far, but it is that Hellion follow-up. And with the Widowmine drop, you can then go into a Hellion drop after or so. And find himself another Overlord to start picking away at. May not get the kill or anything, but again, nice to be able to push it away a little bit. Denying scouting is a huge important part of this sort of gameplay. And, well, GuMiho not going to be able to deny this Overlord in the end, but he's actually, well, he actually is going to chase it. He actually leaves the Widowmine on the tower. He does just chase the Overlord, so he obviously feels very, very strongly about being able to deny this Overlord's vision. And now we see an Armory on the way up, a Liberator coming out as well. Just a couple of overlords early has put Serral into a slight supply block here, going into that Bane Nest once again. This could turn into a bit of a Hellbat-based attack once more, especially with that armory coming through already. I'm just going to be seeing the Hellions coming in, just going to take that watchtower on the left-hand side once again. Gathering this all up and together. Liberator to the far left-hand side, going to see what it can do too here in the next few moments. And again, that armory finishing up in just a few seconds' time. Hellions will get ready to push on forwards and get ready to go once again. Again, it's going to be a lot of Hellbats, remember. Right now, there's no Banelings ready, but they will be Banelings getting set to go. As you see right now, Widowmine comes over here. That's a dead Queen. It's a nice pick off. He gets 3 drones with it as well. They were all stacking up on that Queen. Because again, Hellbat's going to push into the natural, but that's where the Banelings are currently morphing in. And actually, you know what? GuMiho, he just doesn't know how close those Banes are to finishing, though, does he? Already seen those drones pulling away, and one single Hellbat or two will go forward to obviously try and do the tanking initially of these Banelings. It's a nice split up so far, as the Bane's going to go for the deeper hits onto the Hellbats, which are clumped up. Meanwhile, the Medivac coming back in towards the third base. They're going to do a bit more damage here as the Queen's already on the way back over, realizing that this is a possibility. 5 workers killed. GuMiho again, some nice damage, but not maybe enough overall to really kind of pick Serral apart here. He's baking more drones. Serral will be back up in that worker count shortly. Obviously, GuMiho lost a lot of his Hellions to be able to make that happen. Extra factors coming down for the third CC as well. Serral's still just playing the macro though, still not looking to do anything cheeky or cheesy. And once again, going to see these Hellions and the Banshee moving out down to the south side. And Hellions just roasting away at a couple more creep tumors right away. Somehow that's going to morph in. Banshee will cloak up. And we're going to be seeing the, again, these couple of creatures just being picked away at, so I'm just going to be seeing some damage being done here, again, cleaning up a bunch of these creep tumors and pushing forwards. These Hellbats going to be in a little bit of trouble perhaps as we see the Marines splitting up. Now it's looking pretty good for GuMiho actually to keep pushing forwards. It's one of these situations where it does start to snowball a little bit if the Zerg can't get a control of things, although he's starting to control things. Those Banelings, those drones, sorry. Those drones getting very low over here, so many of them in the red. 5 workers killed again. GuMiho continuing to apply pressure while building into a 4, while building into the extra factories and setting up for the next stage of this. Again, it's going to be Lingbane Hydra as the way to fight against the mech army here from Serral. It's the lack of roaches which really makes these defenses so much more difficult, and GuMiho able to keep on attacking. And that's obviously what GuMiho recognizes. And that's what GuMiho looks to continue utilizing here moving forwards. The Medivac coming down the left-hand side with these 2 Hellbats inside, and again, just going to be seeing creeps still pushing up through the center and through the left. Drone over here comes in to make a 4th base. There's something which GuMiho will see. The Hellbat drop into the main, and already those drones pulling away in plenty of time, and the Hellbat's just going to sit in a nice little position. Ooh, the Medivac actually goes down. Still soaks up quite a lot of Banes, and still trades pretty efficiently here, honestly, for what this was. Resources lost is 2.4 to the 3.4k, 1,000 resources difference. As it is now another Banshee poking in just for 1 more worker kill right there, and obviously for now being pushed back. Again, upgrades looking good for GuMiho though. He's building a 4th command center as well. His 3rd base is mining. Serral's going into that infestation pit once more, looking to get in towards the swarm host as a way to deal with this mech army. And that's why GuMiho might have to start thinking about Blue Flame already. There it is, Blue Flame on the way up. Again, the sooner you get that, the sooner you have it to fight the Ling Bane, but also, well, the Hydras too. But also it's very good for fighting against the Swarm Host Locusts. Goes a long way. CC continues to come on up right now. That's going to be seeing those Zerglings still setting up on the left-hand side. 4s, tanks, Hellbats moving down, and we're going to be seeing a few Banshees gathering together as well. Actually, quite a few Banshees up in the sky to help out against this, but I'm not sure how well they do against the Lingbane Hydra. They were fairly successful before. GuMiho is going to have a run by in towards his mineral line in a moment, but he has got Hellions popping out. That'll be a huge help unless they're about to come across the map, in which case this timing has been pretty good. GuMiho, does he see it in time? He doesn't, so the Lings are going to get into his natural as he pushes down the right-hand side. Swarmers aren't here just yet, as SCVs are pulled in to fight this. A couple of SCVs will start dropping, 1 tank goes down. These couple of Hellions coming out need a little bit of help as well, though. At the same time, GuMiho focusing at the front. Some Banes going off on the 4 here. Not the best of situations. GuMiho maybe needing to bring forward some more siege tanks, and Overseer is in place, so this Banshee's not going to be super effective either. 9 workers went down to that counter. And again, more tanks coming over, and this is a very kind of narrow choke point, and again, rocks are in place over here. It's difficult for Serral to actually get a surround on this army. It's a very powerful position for the Terran to push forwards in, and that's exactly what we're starting to see here. Tanks starting to help deal with this. Extra Hellions coming in right now, but is it enough as these tanks and fours are still in position? Hellions trying to reinforce this. They're going to have to turn away. +2 just finished up towards the end of this fight, and maybe that's something he could have used just a little bit sooner. Ling's going to grab a 4 there, and GuMiho taking another heavy loss. Serral now makes 9 swarm hosts and sets up into the next stage of this. Maybe GuMiho just getting a little bit too aggressive a little bit too early on. Banshee moving around and just cleaning out watchtowers, etc. 4 bases up from Serral, the 3 bases from GuMiho. Again, as the locusts, the swarm hosts come up here, it's going to be very difficult for the Terran player to deal with it, and especially if these swarmers, for example, find themselves over here, being able to drop locusts into the main super quickly, that sort of thing is going to be very difficult to deal with. No Vikings on the map either just yet. GuMiho has been, again, focusing on the Banshees early and has never built up the Viking numbers. Oh no, SCV is going to run very early in towards this position, immediately has to pull away from those Zerglings, but Serral pulls back too, not going to be baited into an army or anything. Meanwhile, harassment somewhere. Banshee on the 4th base finds himself 4 kills and moves up in towards the main to just stay alive, avoiding the queen, etc. Actually, nothing. Oh no, there is a queen hidden behind these overlords here. Banshee will fall. So Banshee going down. Serral setting up aggressively, and this is starting to look a little bit like Game 3, looking a little bit like Anomaly. As we're going to see these locusts jumping on up, and they're going to move forwards to try and drop onto these tanks. Hellions are out of position. Hellbats are coming back right now, but maybe a little bit too slow. Again, those tanks starting to pull backwards here. The Hydra's going to fight with this, but it seems as though GuMiho will push this back for now. He will hold off against the first wave of this, and now there's no Locust to help defend these Hydralists, and these Hydras are melting to the amount of Hellions at the moment. Oh wow, GuMiho really starting to do some damage here. Look at this as he chases forwards. Hydras disappearing, Banes are going to be disappearing. Another wave of Locusts coming through. Again, they don't kill a lot. There's now a scan, and GuMiho is cleaning up creep spread. This definitely turns around in GuMiho's favor for a moment. He's actually going to take this base to the back right. I actually don't mind that, because again, it's a position that'll be difficult for Serral to really attack into. Couple more tanks sieging up once more now. And I see these SCVs coming in towards the upper right to mine. He obviously just has single Zerglin to harass SCVs with the surround, deal with that very easily, and they get back to mining. It's going to be seeing the lanes and Locusts moving forwards here. The Hellions actually pulling back right now to stay alive against the Banes, letting the tanks and 4 take the damage for that. As we do see GuMiho continue to push this against the Locusts out of the issue, and as he sees these Locusts, he should just back away. No reason to fight this here when he can just back off instead and let them expire. No reason to take that free damage. So again, GuMiho for now will just back off for a few moments. Again, his base mining over here, so his economy setting up nicely. The income has been a bit Serral favored for a little while, just as GuMiho has been looking for a way to set up his 4th base. Hellions now going to run around the left-hand side. He's actually going to run into a whole bunch of Lings and Banes, which is definitely not a bad thing for GuMiho's perspective. You're going to see those 4s dropping down, and again, almost free damage as long as you pick them back up in time. And there is going to be 1 pickup and the 2nd. And these Hellions now just going to get a few more Zerglings as the back away comes in from GuMiho. Nice play, and he will have to bring one of those 4s back to get repaired. One of them was getting pretty low. Again, a lot of Lings being cleaned up. Another Hydra there as well, is just darting forwards. Those Hellions so good at just picking away at these Hydralists as well with the blue flame. +2/+1 for GuMiho against +2/+2, +1 melee on the way. The next switch up here from Serral will probably be a Hive and an Ultralisk Cavern. And there is that Hive starting up right now. The idea being, it's just a bit more of a powerful way to continue on moving through this. GuMiho still keeping the dream alive to take us to a Game 7 on Arch of Janus. That is the current situation we're in if he wins this game. It would be one hell of a way to end this, as we're going to be seeing a couple of Hellbats here. We'll see the Locusts coming up the right-hand side. Already a wave of Locusts moving forwards here. And you'll see the Hellions obviously spotting this fairly early, and 4's going to have to lift back up. Locusts just going to be allowed to kill a couple of depots. You're going to see these Locusts lifting up as well. And they are going to head towards the upper right. Honestly, it's a planetary. These Locusts are going to have, what, like 10 seconds left on them? If SCVs surround and it repair instantly, I don't think this planetary goes down, because again, the SCVs, well, they don't get as much of a surround as they maybe should have done. A few more getting surrounds now, and that is going to be good enough. Again, those Locusts just popped so far away that it actually was not really kind of lengthy enough. Maybe the Swarmers could have walked a bit further north, but they were scared of being caught off guard and out of position and getting taken down. Even resources lost, as we do see Serral pushing towards the 5th. The extra bases now become a bit more difficult for Serral, because I think this base here is very hard for him to defend from some drop play, etc., just with Hellbats or whatever. even just afford to. Like, it's very hard for him to push into those positions. You're going to see tank siege, and uh-oh, well, this is going to be a big fight, and that could decide everything. Banes are pretty good on the Hellbats initially, as we're going to see so many siege tanks currently just working their way through a bunch of locusts. You're going to see 3 more Hellbats coming in the front to do some tanking. The Hydras have gone down, but GuMiho's tanks are still a little bit exposed at the front. It's a trade-off as we do see Lings coming in to counterattack. Only 5 SCVs killed, though. The Hellions cleaning up. GuMiho drops heavily in supplies just because of the Remax, though. Pushing forwards, Locusts are on cooldown, remember. And if those tanks get into this aggressive position again, well, that's the issue. They might get there, but eventually the Locusts come up. I don't think GuMiho is a way to fight that. He's going to take a forward position with his next base. I don't know, man. These Locusts are just causing so many issues time and time again right now for GuMiho. Every time there's a full wave of Locusts coming forwards, it doesn't really seem as though there's a way to really shut it down. And again, GuMiho going to try and hold this up at position. It opens up different attack pathways now for Serral, who comes around the left-hand side with these Zerglings, looking to see what's going to happen. Locusts pop up once again and pushing forwards here. These Vikings are going to be working their way through a couple of these Locusts initially. And we do see, again, the Locusts maybe don't have that much time left on them as they come on in. You're going to be seeing the tanks firing away. The Hellbats are good too. GuMiho holds on once again here. Big lane run by into towards the natural expansion, but Hellions in position. GuMiho denying this damage being done and keeping himself in a strong spot for now. Tank sieging again. Hellbats taking the charge, and again, a few more Hellbats just setting up. Tanks in the back are sieging up once more. Locusts on cooldown at the moment for quite a while, actually, and this is GuMiho's opportunity to really force a fight where he can kill a hell of a lot before he even has to worry about the swarmers coming through. But the Ling Bane getting some good connections, and maybe that's why GuMiho has to be a bit more careful here. Now the Locusts are in play, and maybe that's why, again, GuMiho can't really afford to keep pushing into this. A lone Swarm Hose comes forwards, and, well, as those Swarm Hose jump down, I just don't think GuMiho has enough to keep pushing forwards with. This is a very far forward position. GuMiho cannot reinforce easily, and the Locusts are starting to be ready to go once again. Can Serral break this position convincingly enough to then move forwards and to win Game 6 and to put himself into the Grand Finals? Look at that, Serral just mining so much more recently while still trading evenly, and that's GuMiho's issue. He just doesn't have a way to answer for that. As here we go, Locust setting up. The Ling Bane Hydra will push forwards at the same time. We know that. The Bane's already working their way through the initial set of Hellbats, which means there's less here to protect the tanks from the Locusts, and there's just not enough tanks still sieged up to fight this at the end, and GuMiho has not got a way to do this. Too aggressive sometimes, and it looks as though Serral is not going to allow us to see Arch of Janus in this series. It looks as though Serral is going to make this a best of 15, ZvZ Grand Final. Hydras, a Swarm Hose to the left. You're going to see these Hellions coming forwards, and a few Zerglings getting roasted away. Tanks loading up into Medivacs once again. GuMiho doing what he can to stay in this. His natural orbitals lifting up and relocating. Some Hydras being sent to try and do bits and pieces, harass around. Problem is right now there's no defense for GuMiho really anywhere it needs to be. Those Locusts dropping early is nice. The Hellions will try and just bait them away to try and buy time, because obviously he does not want this orbital to die. All the SCVs on it. He's actually doing a good job. This wave of Locusts will be dealt with. The Hydras at the front. Well, actually, maybe Serral now getting a bit too aggressive, because again, Hellions will do well against Hydras if given the opportunity, which exactly is what that was. And Hellions gathering together. 7 workers killed. And we've seen Lings and Banes pushing forwards again. And GuMiho's just done nothing to shut down Serral's base on the left-hand side. He's been so preoccupied with just staying alive himself here. 150 to 200 supply. Only 25 army supply behind, but again, with those Locusts leading the charge, it's so difficult for GuMiho to realistically shut this down like he needs to. So many Hellbats in this, as we're going to see the Ling Bane going to lead in after the Locusts. And again, it's been the issue so far. A nice spread from GuMiho, and a bit better spread than what we've seen before, to minimize the damage from the Bane lanes, which have been helping to push through the Hellbats, and then hence help push into the siege tanks after that. Not many Locusts left over right now. A few more Hellbats coming through. This 4 is going to be saved at the last second. Problem is the income is just so different between the players. Orbital up here from GuMiho isn't doing anything. He's not mining really from the third base. Serral has this base mining, this base mining, this base mining. GuMiho just is lacking so much in comparison. And because of that, the income lead in Serral's favor just means he rebuilds, he gets ready to go again and again and again so easily. And we've seen 2 Hellions around the left-hand side. These few Hydras pushing up in towards this position here, and we are going to see that orbital landing. Funes will have to turn around and go in that direction to help clean that up as well. These Hellions coming over to start working their way through those couple of Hydras. Hydras getting picked off again, a 4 dropping down. We're just going to be seeing this hatchery taking some damage. You see Lucas just dropping on down towards these tanks as well. And well, GuMiho's going to give up this forward position, which he's been so eager to hold onto for so long. Counter-attacking across the map. Lings and Broodlings right now are doing the job they need to of just slowing this down and stopping any further advancement. Although I guess the hatchery did get killed. So finally, you're going to see a bit of a denial on multiple bases. Serral is not really able to stabilize in this just yet. And GuMiho, again, some attacks like this earlier to shut down Serral's economy would have been great, because look at the income now. It is going to start dropping back towards GuMiho being even with Serral. And that's going to be very useful. But is it just too late for that? These Hellbats here are making a very good progress against the hatchery. It's down at what, 180 health? It's going to go down to 120, and that'll be about it. 90 health remaining. I mean, that's killable for GuMiho. He's got a new base up here, so again, his income's starting to take a bit of a skyrocket. He needs gases, though, and that's something he can't really make up for with just dropping mules down that he's been saving up over time. That's something he will be punished for not having mining for quite some time here. 21 minutes into God's Garden, and this game is becoming absolutely ridiculous right now. Some Hellions moving forwards will find the main Zerg army over here, and immediately GuMiho will turn away from that. A few Hellions, not the biggest of losses compared to what it could have been if his entire army went up initially. Still no Vipers, by the way, as we see another melee upgrade coming through. Smallhorse goes a bit too far forwards, and Serral going to back away from now. Lings on this top left base, though, and GuMiho does not have an answer to it. Hellions are on their way over, but already 14 workers killed. That's a big deal, as tanks actually dropping and denying mining over here. They killed this base already down to the bottom left, so again, the income coming back in favor of GuMiho now and then. He needs to keep this base alive, though. He needs to repair this orbital, and he's going to get some SCVs. Okay, they're going to start repairing, so this base is going to be saved. This game is absolutely crazy right now. 113 to 123 army supply. The problem is GuMiho needs to keep shutting down economy, because if he doesn't, it gets to this position where he will not be able to stay in the game for very much longer afterwards. 2 more tanks loading up, and I like the idea of the tank drops moving around as a way to shut down this eco. It's also slowing Serral down from taking larger fights, and to take the fights, which is punishing GuMiho in this game a lot of the time. Semifinals going to come down the right-hand side. Serral's army moving around all over the places. Again, 2 tanks over here will find this base, and they're just going to set up to... Whoa, forces a cancel instantly. Maybe a bit preemptive here. I think Serral could have defended that. It's only 2 tanks. Now the lift-up's going to come down. It does lead Serral's army into a position where he could push up into that base, though. This base down here is going to get denied as well. These tanks are going to come in, and there's going to be a dead hatchery. Serral not in position to defend it. And again, right now, Serral is struggling to keep his bases mining, which has allowed GuMiho to get back in this game. GuMiho is stepping it up a notch to continue on in this game 6 of the series. He's not going to give up just yet. He's not going to die just yet. He refuses to. Well and truly. Hatchery cancelled just then. As we are going to be seeing Lings getting roasted by Hellbats once more. A few of them going to burrow up here, but GuMiho sees it. That's really nice. He really can't afford any more worker losses at the moment. GuMiho might get a chance to max out once again. Viper's on the way up, though. I mean, the army of Serral is getting better than it's been before. GuMiho is still sort of playing with the same sort of setup that he's been playing with all game. On all series. Since the first couple of games. So almost to the left-hand side, as we do see Hellions around the left. Now going to run by a base. The thing is, with so many Hellions on the map, well, if they just die without doing enough, it's going to be very painful. And they are going to come down here. They're going to try and roast this base. Well, there's a lot of drones to be picked off, sure. And he's just going to start working his way through this entire mineral line. 25 workers killed just like that. However, I think Serral is also starting to realize that this is an opportunity for him to kind of counter-attack, knowing that GuMiho has just used a whole bunch of this... a whole bunch of his army to be able to kind of set that up. Lings running in towards this base. Locust already used, though. GuMiho now dropping down to 31 workers against 37. Again, the army supply taking a heavy hit a few moments ago. Those swarm hosts, those 3 units, still going to create issues. Serral has rebuilt down here. Workers are transferring over. I mean, this base is still alive. He just needs more workers on it, and he is beginning to redrun very quickly. I wouldn't even mind seeing GuMiho build up more workers, but then I think, well, what would he actually, where would he actually put them? Maybe this top left base is expandable too, but it's very difficult. It's very difficult right now. What's the resources lost at? Still 39k apiece. It really just is a situation where Serral had that 10-minute period where he was just, fighting GuMiho's army so much, and GuMiho did nothing about Serral's eco. And without kind of fighting Serral's eco, it became a big problem. You're going to see some tanks being abducted into this army. Already the Hydras are Well, doing a good job against those, and I think this is GuMiho on his last legs right now. Lings up surrounding depots, refineries, and all sorts here. I see Hydras and Swarm Hosts to the left. And some Zerglings continue to push on through, continue to fight against the rest of this now. A few more SCVs going down, 15, 16 workers killed. Drones to the bottom left going down again. GuMiho now only on 9 workers, however. He's going to push forwards and kill a hatchery. The problem is, as soon as the Locusts come into play once again, it's just not going to be enough. And GuMiho couches out GG. Serral goes to the Grand Finals.